Why is consent so important?
Consent is important because you want to make sure that your partner is okay with what you're going to be doing.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
Basically just if you are involved with any drugs or alcohol or any under the influence of any kind.
Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
Consent would be just if you are saying, yeah, that's fine, but enthusiastic consent would be like if you are definitely okay with it.
Why is consent so important?
To prevent bullying, because you don't want that to happen to anyone.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
If they're like under the influence or anything like that.
Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
Consent would probably just be like, yeah, sure, but then enthusiastic consent would be like multiple yeses, and it's like, Devon, I don't know.
Why is consent so important?
Like, so that people can't say that you raped them.
Okay. What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
Drugs and alcohol. And a
Is-
state of awakeness. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
No, not really. Like, I don't think so.
Okay. Why is consent so important?
Because otherwise it's rape.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
Drugs and alcohol.
Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
Yeah. There's one that's like, yes. And there's another one that's like, hell yeah.
Why is consent so important?
Consent is important because it's asking for someone's permission, and you don't do stuff without people's permission.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
Drugs, alcohol.
Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent? Okay.
Aiden, you ready?
Yep.
Why is consent so important?
Consent is pretty important because if the person is not comfortable with what you're doing, they will go to the police and say that you raped them, and that's bad.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
Alcohol and the drugs, those are going to impair your ability to give consent to your partner.
Okay. Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
Yeah, consent could just be like, sure, dude, I'm down. But then, like, enthusiastic consent will be like, yeah, that sounds fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good job.
Okay,
Why is consent so important?
consent's important because if someone doesn't want to do something and they I don't know, if someone doesn't want to do something, they have to give the right away for you to do something with them, and you
So you
can't
don't
do something
rape
with
them.
someone without them knowing it. So this is kind of messed up.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
Alcohol and drugs, I guess, because they're not thinking straight.
Yeah. Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
Consent would be if someone's sad or they're not really they're not having a good day, so they say yes anyway to maybe make themselves feel better, but they're not really into it and they're not really thinking straight because they're not happy. But enthusiastic consent would be yeah, they really want to do it and they're ready for it. I guess.
Okay, good job. Why is consent so important?
Consent's important because it prevents rape.
What do you think may impair one's ability to give consent?
That'd be drugs and alcohol.
That's good. Is there a difference between consent and enthusiastic consent?
Well, one you're excited to say yes, and the other one you're just
Why are you getting interviewed
Yes.
with that?
because I gotta take a shit.